Hello, I'm Aaron Inojosa, and this is week one. I also turned in week five through email, and it's also going to be in the link to this YouTube channel I made for the class. And my academic goal is to improve on these videos and also pass. I'm reflecting the Aztec Empire and the Spanish conquest. My main revelation: the Aztec Empire did not collapse simply because of a small Spanish force was applied. The conquest involved major differences in world view, indigenous alliances, communication, disease, and existing political divisions. The documentary made Mexican American studies feel broader to me because understanding Mexican American histories also requires understanding the indigenous civilizations and colonial encounters that shaped Mexico before the modern United States existed. The Mexicana, commonly called the Aztecs, had already developed a sophisticated civilization centered in the Tenochtitlan long before Spanish arrival. One important contrast is between the Triple Alliance and the expanding Spanish Empire. The Aztec Empire grew from the alliance of the Tenochtitlan, the Texicolo, the Tlacopan, which defeated the Tempances and then expanded through warfare and tribute. The Aztec power did not mean that every conquered population supported the Tenochtitlan. The empire collected tribute, took captives, and violently suppressed resistances. The Talacans, for example, remained an independent and a long history of conflict with the Aztecs. This becomes crucial when the Spanish arrive because Cortés did not conquer empire with the Spaniards alone. Indigenous allies give the Spanish additional soldiers, supplies, knowledge, and local support. If I taught one idea from this section, it would have to be the Triple Alliance because it shows that indigenous Mexico was politically more complex rather than one unified civilization waiting for the Spanish to arrive. The Spanish was not just a military, it was also a clash of religion, political expectations, language, and ideas about power. The Mexicana understood political power through tribute, alliances, warfare, religion, and obligations between rulers, subjects, peoples. The Spanish brought Christianity and different imperial system. They interpreted many Aztec religional practices, especially human sacrifice, through their own worldview. Translation becomes a form of power. The Spanish needs indigenous interpreters to communicate, negotiate, to understand the politics, and to build alliances, and conquest depended on understanding the people as much as fighting them. Alliance building also changes how I understand the conquest. Indigenous groups had their own goals and grievances. Some aligned with the Spanish because they saw an opportunity to weaken the Aztec domination, not necessarily because they wanted the Spanish to rule. A misconception I had was that the Spanish simply arrived with superior weapons and defeated the Aztecs, or, kind of just talked them into it. A larger picture shows that the empire was already contained political tensions and that the Spanish were able to exploit. One limitation of describing this as simply Spanish versus Aztecs is that it hides the choices and influence of many indigenous people involved. My biggest takeaway is that the collapse of the Aztec Empire was not one simple military defeat. Power came from more than weapons. It comes from alliances, communication, political divisions, religion, and the ability to influence how different groups understood one another. The Spanish succeeded partly because they entered an existing political world, formed alliances with people who had their own reasons for opposing Aztec rule. Going forward, I'd want to, continue learning and getting better at these videos. This history gives me a better understanding of Mexican American studies because it shows how modern identity grew out of centuries of conflict, survival, adaptation, and cultural interaction. Thank you.